Ember Girl and I skied in a very stormy storm up there. There was lots of winds, right, Ember? Mommy had to protect you?
It was so scary up there.
It was a little bit scary up there, but we was brave, weren't we? Yeah? And what did Dada do?
We're all boating.
It was too stormy for Bodhi to sit at the bottom of the chairlift today, so Bodhi had to sit in the car with Daddy, and all the chairlifts were closed except for the bunny chair, so Ember and I did laps on the bunny. Hey, Ember, are we skiing in a storm? Is it stormy? You gotta learn that you are not in control, and you gotta learn to adapt, and you gotta learn to not be comfortable but still days. And I remember learning that at a very young age because my parents would take us up to the mountain on very, very stormy days, but we would drive really far and get all the way here, and so we would at least do like a couple runs.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple weeks for Audrey Roloff. Well, it's been a couple years. She has been getting hit from every single direction because of some of the choices she's been making, not only as a parent, but as a person. And some of her beliefs have been on blast, and a lot of trolling activity, according to her, is happening, and she has been clapping back a whole lot. If you follow her Instagram, you know that she does weekly sort of Q&As on her Instagram, and this week was no different. She loves to talk about herself, and there's a couple things that she is busy and very worried about. So Audrey is obsessively worried about the engagement that's happening on her Instagram. She says that she has 80% less engagement than she did, I don't even know, compared to what, I'm not sure. So she says her engagement is down 80%. Now, there was a change that was made in January to, I believe, iPhones in terms of something to do with advertising and Instagram. And I'm not sure if that could be affecting her because a lot of her content does appear to be ads. Or maybe people are just no longer engaging. But she is convinced she's shadow banned. So back in January, a lot of outlets started deleting or removing accounts that promoted QAnon conspiracies or hate speech or the like. And so a lot of conservative voices are sort of echoing this idea that everyone is being censored. There's a lot of discussions about everyone being shadow banned. But, you know, even if you don't like her, she doesn't get into politics very much on her Instagram. She sort of stays out of that because her thing is marriage, and she doesn't really talk about anything too deep. We know that her beliefs are extreme, but she doesn't frequently discuss them. In that respect, I don't see her being banned in the same way, say, someone who is in QAnon would be. She still thinks she's been shadow banned, and she's been sharing all kinds of kinds of things about how to improve your algorithm, from saving content, then commenting, then liking, then sharing, whatever. And she keeps telling people, if you want to get your engagement up, I heard this might work. So she's very worried about the fact that she doesn't have very good engagement on her Instagram, allegedly. Now, mind you, she has 1.4 million people on her Instagram, so it's not like she's suffering for the amount of followers that she has. But a lot of the people that as I've been covering it, have said that they've stopped following her or stopped engaging on her Instagram because they feel like they're constantly inundated with ads. They feel like every single thing that she puts up on her Instagram is strategically placed to sell something, whether it's her Young Living, a book, her podcast. They never feel like the engagement with her is actually authentic. It all seems to be driven towards some sort of monetary benefit to Audrey. Now, this is her personal account. She has a business account, which is what I think bothers people, because they're supposed to be using the Beating 50% Instagram page to be selling their books and their podcast and everything, and yet they heavily rely on Audrey's Instagram as the vehicle to promote everything. And she has a large following, so I can understand wanting to use that audience. But oversaturating your audience with constant ads can make them feel incredibly unlikely to want to engage. Even when she posts things that aren't a specific ad, she's always adding the ad within the content of her Instagram. So she'll share a video of her son, and then she's got 4 slides about her books. And she's always promoting her merch, her oils. It's like, and she has a separate oil page for all of that. So she doesn't even need to use her personal Instagram for any of this, but she does. When she does end up sharing things about her kids, there's constant scrutiny about her choices. So if you remember, she went skiing with her son and she went down the hill with him. Well, over the weekend, she took Ember skiing in a blizzard, and people were really upset about this because she shared a story on her Instagram, and basically Ember admitted that she was really scared at what happened. She was scared to be on the mountain, and Audrey admitted that there was only one lift open and that she made her daughter go up the lift and down the hill because it would, help build her character. And she went on this very long diatribe about it.
One thing I love about the Pacific Northwest and doing outdoor sports is that you can't control the weather. So you got to learn that you are not in control, and you got to learn to adapt, and you got to learn to not be comfortable but still days. And I remember learning that at a very young age because my parents would take us up to the mountain on very, very stormy days, but we would drive really far and get all the way here, and so we would at least do like a couple runs. But I think the same was true for me, like not only with running, or like any of you that do outdoor sports, growing up doing outdoor sports, but specifically outdoor sports in a place where there's seasons and wintry elements, because it really makes you learn that like you're in control. So Ember's learning that too now. Hey Ember, are we skiing in a storm? Is it stormy?
So after she goes on this long, messy explanation about why Ember should have to be, at 3 years old, learning about how we don't have control of our lives, people were upset because Ember said it was really scary. And then some people said she's 3. She has the rest of her life to realize that she doesn't have control over things. You don't need to drill this into her because you want to be the best Instagram mom. So then she actually clapped back at the trolls when someone asked her a question about the trolls. So given everything she's gone through in the last few months, she had the disastrous thing with skiing with Bodhi while she's carrying him, and then making Ember ski in a blizzard. Someone says this to her: "You don't let trolls affect you." And she said, "I'm honestly pretty good at brushing them off, realizing they don't have context and that I don't have to defend every accusation made against me helps and is freeing. I'm also reminded that hurt people, but I can't say I'm never affected. I'm a human just like you, and people say some pretty shitty things." And she had a spelling error with the realizing. People are always criticizing her typos because she's quote unquote an author, and almost all of her Instagram questions have typos in them, or like really big misspellings that are just weird, like realizing without an A. She is saying that hurt people, and like, I get it. Trolling is so hard. Like, there's every single day there's somebody criticizing what it is that you're doing, you're saying, how you're acting. Will pick apart your Instagram. The tabloids are constantly reporting on her. I think some of the criticism she's receiving though right now is not trolling, because even today did an article on it. Today, Parents did an article on her taking Bodhi down the hill and how dangerous it was. And on the article on Today, it says, "Little People Big World's alums spark outrage with baby skiing video." And they spoke to a doctor, who's a pediatrician in New Jersey, Dr. Jay Lovenheim, and he said the biggest issue here is that his head isn't protected, noting that helmets reduce the risk of a traumatic brain injury. And he says, even if the mom is a great skier, all it takes is one little patch of ice. There's also skiing around all those other people and you don't know what can happen. It's similar to wearing a seatbelt. You might think, well, I'm driving really slowly, I don't need a seatbelt, but everyone on the road isn't practicing the same safety precautions. When the Today Show is even doing a article on it, and they're bringing in a pediatrician to basically reiterate to the criticism that this isn't safe. She shouldn't have done it. He didn't have a helmet on. It's not advised to do this with a child. She broke the rules in order to do this. That's a valid criticism. But then she doubled down and basically was like, I'm an amazing skier and I would never put my child at risk and I would never hurt him and I can ski better than I walk, you know. And then the next week, only 2 weeks later, she's back on the mountain forcing Ember to go down the hill, and Ember's terrified and it's a blizzard and all the lifts but one are closed. So people are like, oh, she's just getting shamed left and right. And I'm like, these are actually valid things. Like, she has a very large audience. And so when you're literally putting child's lives at risk or in dangerous situations, it's way different than, say, you know, she's riding a bike without a helmet for like 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Or, you know, it's way different than her running with Bodhi while carrying him than it would be to ski on an unpredictable hill with all kinds of people around you. It's just not comparable. So it's valid criticism. It's not trolling, in my opinion. Now, there are people on the internet that do troll and that they do hurt people, and that I get. But in this case, Audrey, I don't think this is trolling. I actually think people have valid reasons to criticize your behavior. So what do you think about all of this? Are you surprised about her engagement going down and her clapback about trolls? And is she only human and people just say crappy things? Or is there a reason to actually criticize some of her choices? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.